The Jewish professors flood the universities, let's put it that way. And that was not the case prior to the Second World War. Right? It was not the case prior to the Second World War. And after the Second World War, especially by the time you get to the second half of the 50s, it's really, I mean, to be perfect, it's a meritocracy. You know, medical school, law school, this and the other. And the Jewish professors will flood the universities way out of proportion to their numbers in the population. There is culture, is what I always try to call your attention to, the seminal role of television, a medium dominated by Jews. It's a fact. Who made CBS? Who made NBC? Who made ABC? There's your answer. Look at the names. Okay? Now, by the second half of the 50s, TV is in its heyday as a formative influence on American life. Anybody old enough to remember, the family has one house and they have one TV in the living room and everybody watches the show. You see, this is the what do you call it? The television by the 57, 58 is in a super powerful mode. Now, a famous head of the FCC once said that television is a vast wasteland. It was under Kennedy. Fine, let it be so. Is no anti-Semitism. That's my point. The most powerful institution in American culture is devoid of anti-Semitism because the guy's in charge of Jewish. Now, I didn't say that they push messages that a frum Jew is necessarily comfortable with. That's a different question. But I'm saying over here that when they do a cowboy movie and when they do a lawyer thing and all the rest of it, whatever the message they're sending, anti-Semitism is not part of the message. In fact, quite the contrary. By the second half of the 50s and afterwards, it's a mild and therefore a very effective liberalism. Okay? The late 50s, early 60s is the heyday of American liberalism. That's the great era of the civil rights advances. It's a great era of advances in things like the Social Security, the welfare, the Medicare, and all the rest of it, because the country and the culture was into what they call a mild liberalism, and mild people can handle, and it's quite effective. When it gets too heavy, and they start pushing things very much to the left, it's a pushback. That's what happened later on.